Griffin Conine, Mr. Marlin. You tell your dad that? Are you the new Mr. Marlin?
No, that's all him.
Second round selection. Actually, you go back a long time ago, you were drafted by the Marlins. But you go to Duke, you have a great career, you get drafted in the second round, and then all of a sudden things get turned over and you get a call at some point that you're one of the newest Miami Marlins. Surreal, scared, excited? What were those emotions like?
Yeah, all the above, all at once. I found out on Twitter, I was just kind of scrolling randomly. It was one afternoon.
Of course.
One afternoon, and I saw Craig Mish, does fine work, and he was the first one to break the news, and that's kind of how I saw it, and I thought it was a ploy at first, or like a joke or something, and then sure enough, got a call 5 minutes later from the Blue Jays guys, and they were like, they told me the dealio, and then I told Dad and Mom, and he was obviously couldn't be happier, and I think he was more. I wasn't super happy at that point. Just there was too much going on to be excited as he was, and then obviously once I got to instructs and put the uniform on and got to be at the spring training facility that I spent so many years as a kid running around, kind of became real for me.
What was the first memory that you have? I mean, do you remember how old were you when you were first you first remember being with Dad in a big league clubhouse in Jupiter?
Definitely Joe Robbie Stadium, pro player, whatever you want to call it. Back when they used to play the Dolphins Park, spent a lot of time out there in the outfield, running around and getting in big leaguers' ways, and Dan Ugla and Hanley Ramirez back when that young core was just coming up. It was really cool to be a part of that, and those guys always were super inclusive and liked having me around.
Everybody in South Florida obviously knows your dad, and I would imagine, whether you admit it or not, you want to pave your own path, right? You're Griffin Conine. You're not Jeff Conine. You're not Mr. Marlin. You're a young kid in the Marlin system looking to make a name for yourself. Where's that drive in there that I love my dad, I love my family. If it wasn't for him, I might not be here. But it's time for me to make my own mark and legacy.
I've been doing this for me. It was never for anyone else. And it's never. I know a lot of times, when you have a parent that was an athlete and you get into that same sport, they can take over and they can, make it so it's about them and it's what they want. But my dad was never like that. He was, super laid back, and I wasn't really even that invested in baseball until probably high school. And he never, really seemed to push it on me or anything like that. And I think that's why, still today, that I still love it as much as I did.
Why'd you become invested? I mean, you weren't, obviously, for a long time. Baseball was fun. You were around it your whole life. But do you remember why you decided to invest your life into it in high school, I guess?
I was pretty undersized in middle school. And then once I really kind of grew into my body in 9th, 10th grade and started to hit homers and started to have a lot more fun with it, and honestly just became a lot better just by growing up a little bit. We had a really good high school team. We had a really close team, so I got to feel what it was like to have a whole team behind you and play for other guys, and that was kind of when I really fell in love with it and was felt like I was good enough to pursue it at the college level and hopefully eventually the professional level.
So I would say people that don't really know your backstory, you get drafted out of high school, you elect to go to Duke. Could have gone better the first 2 years, and then things really clicked. But what was it that clicked? Because the power starts to come around, you had the terrific summer away from school. Where did it all change, Griffin? Because as we sit here now, you were second in all of minor league baseball, bashing baseballs this summer.
Yeah, I think that summer you mentioned, that was when it changed. I went into college. Obviously at a high school, the competition jump is huge in the ACC, and I was overmatched. And I didn't adjust as well as I could have to better pitching and facing these guys that could now throw 3 or 4 pitches for strikes. And then summer ball was great because you get away from the all the eyes on you, all the coaching staff, all the pressure. That was kind of just when I figured out what worked for me, how to approach it, what pitches I was going to do damage on, and that was a lot of fun. And that was kind of what changed once I realized, like, I'm playing college players here in this
Right.
league, and good pitchers, and having success, and I just kind of took that confidence into my sophomore year, and then it kind of just multiplied.
You develop a little confidence, but you said it was, so at one point you're young, you're overmatched, it's stressful, things could get out of control, and you're working a 9 to 5 real quick because you just can't handle it. What did you do? What conversation did you have with yourself or somebody else that I guess at some point just allowed you to relax?
My dad had a big role in that. I think going into summer ball, after that freshman year, obviously didn't go the way I wanted it to, or anyone thought it would. But at the same time, he was kind of just like, take a step back. Like, it's your freshman year. You're just getting into this now. You have so much time to improve and get better. All the coaches I have to thank too. 'Cause coaching in summer ball can be hit or miss, but we had a really good group of guys there.
Summer ball, you get drafted, you have a great career at Duke, Blue Jays, traded, Miami. Fast forward to 2021, and you're crushing the baseball in Beloit. Then you get a promotion to Pensacola, and you're just smashing home runs. Second in all of minor league baseball. You hit how many?
36, I think.
Yeah, you hit 36. How much confidence did that give you?
That was definitely the one thing this year that I felt like was never gonna go away. I had, tons of ups and downs. The way it was split up this year, it's kind of like you have 6 games and then a day off, 6 games, day off. So it's like you divide it up into weeks because you're playing one team. So I was kind of, in my head, I was like, well, if you hit 2 homers a week, that'd be 40. So I was like, that's kind of an easy way to think about it. And I liked the schedule a lot because of that, because you kind of just take it week by week. It was really easy to. So I think that definitely played like a big role in just having the confidence, and also like staying in the weight room, which I felt like, I hadn't really nailed down in season as far as standing on top of your stuff and staying on top of your eating and everything. So I think that all kind of played a role.
You look at your season this year, hit 218, 220, but you smash home runs. Have you settled on the fact that you're gonna have to sacrifice average if you want to continue to hit a ton of home runs? Or are you working towards hitting for more average, hitting more home runs? But that's an interesting dynamic. You often hear guys saying, I'm willing to sacrifice some average if it means I'm gonna get to the show. Where do you kind of sit with all that now?
When I look back at this year, I didn't think it went too great, to be honest.
Really?
For me, I did one thing well, which was hit home runs. And I think there's so many things you can do well. I think I could, hit for average. I think I could do a lot of things. And I think there's definitely a lot of reasons why I didn't this year. And I think I let it speed up on me a bit.
But if you know why, that's good. If you know why.
That's the COVID off season where we didn't have the season in 2020. Right. It was tough because I didn't really know what I needed to work on. Like, I didn't know what to prepare for this next year. And this offseason, I feel like I know exactly what I need to work on.
Just to become multi-dimensional.
I know where the holes were offensively. I know where the holes were with my swing, with my approach, and I know exactly where my attention needs to fall in order to, turn the corner next year.
That's got to be a good feeling within reason. You could hit nearly 40 home runs and come home and be like, great year, 40 homers, got a promotion. But if you're not satisfied, and not only are you not satisfied, now you know what needs to change. That's got to make you eager to get back out there in 3 or 4 months.
Absolutely. That's why, I think this year didn't go the way I wanted it to by any means, but at the same time, I learned, like you said, that does give me confidence because I know what I need to work on, and then I can have so much more confidence having known that I did work on it, which I will, going into spring training next year.
What would it mean to you in the coming years, next year, who knows, 8 months from now, if you dig in from the left side at Lone Depot Park and you, Griffin Conine, or a Miami Marlin, what would that mean to you?
I hadn't been to the park almost since, maybe freshman year of college I went.
Yeah.
So it had been a few years. So I think coming back now and being where I'm at now in my career and knowing that, coming from AA, only a couple levels away.
Can you feel it a little, is it more tangible now?
I would say I thought about it more because I never used to think about the debut or making it. I was always, there's so many levels of the minor leagues that you get swept up in it and you think that's so far in the distance, but now it feels closer, and being here and hitting BP on the field and what that feels like, you can't help but not kind of picture what it would feel like and what it would be like. And I get chills kind of when I think about it, and I think you know, that would be really special. So hopefully, you know, we can make that happen sooner rather than later.
Awesome. Thanks, man. I appreciate
Yeah,
it.
no problem.